Hey guys, what is up? It's just your average Jules here, bringing you a Baby Raccoon deck profile for the August 2014 format. So we'll jump right in, get the extra deck out of the way here. I'll explain my choices as we go along, but to start things off, we got 3 Baby Raccoon Ponpoko. This card says, if you don't know, it's essentially a Stratos for the deck. When you normal summon it, you get to special summon 1 level 2 or lower beast from your deck in face down defense position. And namely, what you're going to want special summon is Baby Raccoon Tantan. His effect, I'm sure most of you don't know, but his effect is when he's flip face up, you get to special summon 1 level 2 or lower beast from your deck. And almost everything in this deck is level 2 or lower beast, except the next card I'm about to show you, so you can pretty much gain anything, access to anything you want in your deck. So next up we got 3 Junk Synchron. Everything in this deck, like I mentioned before, except himself, is level 2. So making our level 5 synchros very viable most of the time. And then that's all the 3s we run, but for the next one of our level 2s, we have 2 Calantoso, Mystical Beast of the Forest. When she's special summoned by the effect of a beast monster, which is Tantan, of course, you get to pop a card in the field. Any card, back row, monster, face down, whatever you want. Put it back, whatever you want. Next up we got 2 Nimble Manga. This card reads, when it's destroyed by battle, you get to gain 1,000 life points and special summon another one from the deck. So it helps you from being OTK'd. You can set it and they attack into it. Maybe if they go off that turn, get 1,000, special another one. So pretty much you're going to save yourself at that point. I used to run 3, but it was way too cloggy. Like I would draw 2 in my opening hand almost every time. So I cut it to 2, it's working great. And then next up we run a series of 1-ofs. To go along with our spell cards in the deck, we run 1 Raccoon, because his popping can be helpful. His milling is not that great, but you know, it's something you gotta deal with. Sometimes you might be able to, maybe you'll mill something, you can special Junk Synchron, that's okay. And you can special him off with, you can special him with Ponpoko face down and make his effect go off, so that's pretty good. Next we got Tree Otter. His effect reads, when you control the beast, you can have one of your monsters gain 1,000 attack until the end phase. And he's essential in 2 of our OTKs, this deck, but there's a lot of combos in this deck, which I'll have to do a separate video on, but he's essential in 2 of the main ones. And next up we got 1 Fabled Cerebro. He's a level 2 tuner, plus you go into Fabled Unicorn. Is that his name? Yeah. Fabled Unicorn, which is a really good card. Next up we got 1 Elephant. He's another tuner, which lets you go into Shuri Beast, which I might explain later how you do that, we'll see. And the last card monster we run is 1 Wind-Up Kitten. Wind-Up Kitten, just once per turn you can bounce 1 monster card from the field back to its owner's hand. So you can do really good stuff with that. Maybe like flip Tantan, special Wind-Up Kitty, bounce a card, then make it level rank 2. It's really good. That's all the monsters we run. I believe that's 18 monsters. So next up we got our spells. The Heart and Soul of this deck, it's 3 Obedience Schooled. This card, when you activate it, you get to special summon 3 level 2 or lower beasts from your deck. Their effects are negated and they're destroyed during the end phase. But it doesn't really matter with some, because you're usually going to go into a rank 2 or a synchro if you can. And if you open this card up with another card, you can make first turn Tree Beast and rank 2. It's really good, so you always want to try to open up with that to the best of your ability. Next up are the 3 spells we play with the 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, because I feel it's necessary right now. I'll slide it out if I go against something that doesn't have a lot of back row, of course, but I feel 3 is really necessary right now. It's been working great. Then next up, we are 2 ofs. We got 2 card Arzark Sunrise. This card came out in Dragon's Legend. Basically, what it says is you get to special summon. It's Monster Reborn for beast types, so you can Monster Reborn anything. Whoopsie there. You can Monster Reborn anything from your deck onto the field, and then all of the cards your opponent controls lose 200 attack and defense for every beast type in your graveyard. So you can activate this card really late game, maybe grab back Wind-Up Kitten or something, and then have them lose like 600, 1,000 attack, doesn't matter. It depends on how much beast you have in the graveyard, of course, but just giving out a little thing there. Next up we got 2 Rhoda, helps you deck thin, just get to your Junk Synchrons faster. And the last spell we play is 1 Book of Moon, because it's really strong. Stop synchros, you can do it on Tantan, make them flip, it's really good. So that's it for the spells. Next up for the traps, we got 2 Ubaku. Sometimes you run really weak monsters in the deck. A lot of them have below 1,000 to 1,000 attack, so sometimes you need to protect your life points and protect your monsters when you want to keep them alive for next turn. And 2 Ubaku is pretty good. You can play Threatening War of it, but I prefer Wabaku. Next up we got 2 Divine Wrath. Because it helps you, this deck has a lot of trouble with effect negation, so it helps you get around cards like Honest and other stuff. And you can discard Beast to the grave that you might want for Junk Synchron next turn. So you can help you set up a little bit, it's really good. Next up we have 2 Fiendish Chain. The main reason I'm running this card is because I don't have 2 Breakthrough Seals at the moment, but Fiendish Chain, it has the ability to stop attacks, which kind of helps it hold its own when you're deciding between Breakthrough and Fiendish Chain, of course. I only have the Fiendish Chains right now, or I'd probably play the Breakthroughs, but Fiendish Chain has been working just as good. So next up we have a card I probably shouldn't be running. It's probably just main deck on the side cards a bit. 2 Mirror Force. I know it's at 3 right now, but I still think 3 is too much for me. I really shouldn't be main decking this. I should probably be main decking Dimensional Prisons. I side those when I go against hands because these cards can really kill her. And really dead when hands are attacking into you, so usually side those out in those matchups. And the last trap to play are the 4 of traps. We got Compulse, Torrential, Bottomless, and Solemn. So it's staple traps. That's it for the main deck. That's 40 cards, no more, no less. Now for the extra deck, which is very fun. We got tokens, of course. Pretty. We run 3. Number 64, Run Around Human Sendeo. This is basically your boss monster. His effect reads, if you don't know what it does, you detach an X-I made Z material from this card, and you make a token on the field, so one of these guys, of course. And its attack is equal to the highest attack monster in the field. Yeah, that's pretty good, in my opinion. They have like a BLS in the field, you just make a token. That's instantly 3,000. JD on the field, it's instantly 3,000. It's really good. Next up, we have another just good generic rank 2s in my opinion. We got Gachi. Because, you know, Gachi's Gachi. Sometimes you just need a little protection. Never bad. Next we've got the Augusta Phoenix. This is essential in one of your OTKs. And plus, like, if Augusta Phoenix is just good for, like, maybe your opponent has, like, 3,000 life and they're open. You can just swing for game. So, it's always good. Next, we have one card, Armored Kappa. I never go into this card. I almost have no reason to ever go into this card, in my opinion. It's just not as good. Not as strong as Rest Ring 2 in the deck. It can be helpful. It can become a 3k wall if it survives for a turn. So, that's not terrible, but you can just pop it easy. And so, it's not the strongest of a rank 2s, but it's an option. It's an option. So that's it for the XE portion. There should be a Shining Elf in here, but I don't actually have one at the moment. I think it's being shipped in the mail right now. But so yeah, this extra X14. Remember that there should be a Shining Elf. Next up, we got for Synchro portion. We got one, like I said, the Fabled Unicorn. If you don't know what this does, it's if you and your opponent have the same number of cards in hand, all effects, monster effects, spells, and traps on their side field are negated. So it's pretty good. They can't do anything to it if you manage to keep hand advantage. And there are cards you can. There are a couple cards in this deck you can use to help keep your hand similar, like what we got here. We got Divine Wrath. Maybe if your opponent plays a card to play around, you could chain Divine Wrath. Have equal number of cards. Help yourself help yourself keep hand equal. So Unicorn's really good. So you're only level 4 I play. It's the only one worth playing in my opinion. There's Baumang, the Honorable Fighter, but I don't really like him. Next up we got, for level 5s, we got 2 Junk Warrior. He is essential for your main OTK in this deck, because his deck OTK is quite a bit. Because his effect, I'm sure most of you know, but when he's Synchro Summoned, he gains attack equal to all level 2 or lower attack monsters on the field. And if you remember, the tokens that Sandeo makes, they're all level 1. So, you make a token that's at least, doesn't even matter, 1,000 attack's even decent, but if you can make a token that's the same as a JD, your Junk Warrior is going to gain another 3,000 attack because of that token. So he's going to be pretty big. Siren 2, because you can go through him a lot in this deck. Sometimes one gets negated. He's not bad. Next up we got one, a Tree Beast. Because you can make him with Elf in this deck. It's kind of complicated to make him, but it's not too bad. And in some matchups it's pretty good. So the Tree Beast, it's really good. And not to mention, late game, you can revive him with Arzok Sunrise. This does not have a level limit requirement. You can just go this special beast, you can special Unicorn. Really good. And then it looks 200 attack, beat over something for a game. It's really too strong, really strong. Next up for the level 5s, you got one Frozen Fitzgerald. Now, pretty much everyone I play against this deck, they have to read this card because no one knows what it does. It is one Dark Tuner, Junk Synchron, plus one Beast, non-tuner Beast type monster. So, it's basically made for this deck, apparently. But its effect reads, when it attacks, your opponent cannot special summon. Let's see if we can get the camera focus here. Get it there. There we go. If it attacks, your opponent can activate spells or trap cards till the end of the damage step. And when it's destroyed, if it's the only monster I control, basically, I can discard a card and special summon it back to the field in defense mode. So it's recurring. It's a decent boss monster. It's got 25 attack, which is pretty nice. And it's kind of, I don't have an Armades because I'm poor, but it's almost like a pseudo Armades, I guess, because it stops spells and traps, doesn't get around stuff like Honest, Stone, Crane. But it's decent, and your opponent's got nothing but back row. It's never bad. Next up, we got one Catastor, because I feel like any deck that makes level 5s, Catastor is kind of a staple. Then we got one level 6, which is HDS Behemoth. I never, ever make this guy. I don't. I never need to. Making him is way too complicated. It's more than it's worth. You put more into it than you're going to get out of it when you're making this card. If you're in a state where you have nothing to get rid of a card except him, you're probably already in a losing situation, in my opinion. So I pretty much never make him, but he's an option, just like with Armored Kappa. So, and the last synchro I play is one Black Rose Dragon. I barely ever make this either, but I make it far more than I do HDS Behemoth because I don't think I've ever made HDS Behemoth. It's pretty easy to make. You just have to have a beast, and then just gotta go Junk Synchron, special another beast out, and you got it. But you know, sometimes you just need to blow up the field, and Black Rose Dragon's a decent way to do that. Sometimes it's more, you're putting more into it than you're gonna get out of it, if you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, guys, that was the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more. I got a spellbook profile coming up a little bit later too. I gotta get the rest of the cards, of course, before I can finish it. But if you guys like to see that, leave a like and a comment. Subscribe to see more videos, and I'll see you guys later.